I'm here with my good friend and student, Ron Sanchez. How are you doing, Ron?
Good. How are you, Sensei?
Good. So, congratulations, you're the student of the month.
Well, thank you.
Finally, you deserve.
Thank you.
So we're gonna have a little bit of interview with Ron here, so you guys can get to know him a little bit better. Okay. So Ron, how long have you been training Jiu-Jitsu for?
I've been with you 3 years, and then years ago I trained with Jean-Jacques Machado for about 2 years, but then I had a big break in between.
Okay, so you started training Jean-Jacques when, pretty much?
In 1998, 99, and I trained till about 2001.
Oh, nice.
And then I got promoted at work. I'm a retired police officer, but I got promoted to captain, and I was working so many hours, and my job was so busy, and then I was a single father, so I just didn't have time to train. And then when I moved back to Orange County, I wanted to start training again, so I called over to Jean-Jacques Machado's, and I talked to some friends of mine that were black belts, and I said, hey, I moved down to South Orange County. Do you know a good place to train? And they said they all recommended Professor Gio Bell, so that's how I started over here.
All right, thanks, man. So I don't know if many people know that, but Ron is 7th degree in Kempo Karate.
American Kempo.
But not only that, so tell me a little bit about your martial arts resume.
I have a 7th degree black belt in American Kempo. I've been studying that since, still study. I've been studying that since high school, so since 1971. I have a 2nd degree black belt in Taekwondo, and I have a 2nd degree black belt in Thai Karate as well, so I have 3 black belts.
Wow, you guys are a machine, man. Dangerous, I'm afraid now. So you train karate, you still teach karate in LA, right?
Yeah, I have a nonprofit studio that I'm the senior instructor at the Hollywood Police Activities League. We're right on Hollywood Boulevard, and we teach the inner city kids. We try to develop their life skills through using martial arts, so we teach there.
And what's the name of the nonprofit?
It's the Hollywood Police Activities League.
Oh, nice. And if people want to help that, so people like looking at the camera right now, I want to help this project, what should they do?
You could go to hollywoodpal.org, and there's a website there, and it's a full eclectic program. We teach martial arts, soccer, we have running teams, cross-country teams, marathon teams. We do scholarships for our students going to college, so we serve about 500 kids total, but in the martial arts program we have about 130 kids.
So it's Hollywood, and then
P-A-L.
P-A-L, all right, .com?
Mm-hmm.
.org. All right, good to know. So since you already, have 3 black belts, for what reason you decided to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? What makes you decide to go for maybe hopefully a 4th black belt and completely change from 3 martial arts that kind of have a lot of similarities to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, has nothing to do with anything you ever done before?
And that was exactly the reason. That my martial arts experience was always in stand-up arts, predominantly stand-up. I mean, Kempo has some standing, grappling, and Thai does, but as far as grappling, going down to the ground, controlling somebody on the ground, those arts don't offer that dynamic of a practice on the ground. They're stand-up arts, so they're punching and kicking and striking. They have some joint manipulation, but certainly not to the level that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu does. So I always knew it was an area in my martial arts training that there was a dramatic area for improvement. And it was a little bit of a weakness in my personal system, so I wanted to shore that up. So I had options standing, and I have options if I end up on the ground or if someone takes me down to the ground, that I'm comfortable down there. So that's why I studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, exactly for what you said, is it's very different than any of the other martial arts that I studied.
So it's pretty much to complete kind of like your training, right? Because you have a very good knowledge, on, striking, probably have a couple other, even in the striking techniques, they have situations where people kind of touch you, grab you, but not a lot of ground work, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you think, because, you were a retired cop, you went all the way to become a
Captain.
Captain. Okay, captain. And so, what? How? Right now you're still working somewhere in the with the cops, right?
I have a business that we do risk management and training and forensic auditing for law enforcement agencies. So I work with police departments, sheriff's departments, probation departments, and so we work with them.
Cool. And do you think how Jiu-Jitsu could help a police office or even a fireman or guys that work, for us, to protect us? How do you think Jiu-Jitsu can play a good role? Do you think it will help them if they learn a little bit? How that works?
Well, as much as I love the stand-up arts, and I do, and they've saved my life, so I mean, as much as I love them, in police work, most of the altercations, unlike what the movies show, most of the altercations is somebody is resisting arrest. It's relatively rare where it's a full-fledged attack at you. It happens, but most of the altercations is somebody doesn't want to go to jail and they take off running, or they resist arrest and you're trying to secure them and get handcuffs on them. Mm-hmm. So it's manipulating and controlling someone where it's on the ground. And so Jiu-Jitsu is an ideal art for that. And now, there's cameras everywhere and stuff, and most people don't understand violence. And so in the striking arts, if you're punching and kicking and kneeing and elbowing, it just looks horrible. Where the Jiu-Jitsu arts, you have options on the ground that are limited in the striking arts. So for me, in police work, I think it's probably the most relevant art for law enforcement.
Okay, yeah, good to know, because I know a little bit about other martial arts, but mostly my whole life I've been studying Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, and wrestling. So it's good to know a perspective of other martial guy that's a master in other martial arts styles.
Yeah, in a life and death situation, you could do pretty much anything, because it's lawful. You're trying to save your life, so the stand-up arts certainly have a place for that, but most of the altercations in law enforcement aren't like that. You're just trying to take somebody to jail.
Yeah, cool. And so what are your future plans then here, training? You're all the way to purple belt. Obviously, I can tell that, you want to go all the way to the black belt. So you have what's your plan of action?
My journey is, this art takes time to learn. It takes patience. The one advantage that I think I have in my journey in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is I have perseverance.
Yeah.
I don't quit things. I have perseverance, and so I come when I want to come. I come when I don't want to come. I come and I get on the mat. So my long-term goal is to continue to progress and become better at Jiu-Jitsu, and hopefully at the end of that line, a black belt will come someday. But in my school, I have a saying that I tell my students that a black belt is not something you get, it's something that you become.
Exactly.
And so my desire is to one day become a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but I also know that takes perseverance and that takes time.
Yeah, and I think you're touching a subject that's actually very important, because this interview is going to be in a newsletter that I actually started a newsletter talking about self-discipline and perseverance, and how important that skill plays in somebody's life. Like you as a 3 times black belt, obviously, work on your perseverance in your whole life, because it's not easy to achieve 3 black belts. It's not easy to achieve 1 black belt. Imagine 3 and a possible 4th. You know what I mean? And what do you think? Cause I think not only as a martial artist, but also as in life, being successful in anything, you need to exercise your perseverance. And I think martial art is one way that gradually exercises this habit, and then makes this habit even stronger. And the proof of that is people like you that got to 3 black belts, and now How old you want to tell your age?
So I'm 62.
62. He still have in his mind the perseverance to go all the way to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. You know, a lot of people like they have no black belts or starting any kind of martial arts and they're already quitting. You know, so it's very good because to see that, because it's a person, it probably plays out in your life too when you win your job. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. You know, when I'm training my students, I always tell them, you know, you're learning more than martial arts. You're learning how to deal with life. You're learning how to be successful. You're learning perseverance. You're learning discipline. You're learning how to interact with other people. And you're learning humility, particularly in Jiu-Jitsu. If you don't have humility when you get here, you're going to have it soon, because there's plenty of guys that are always going to be better than you. You know, they're always going to be coming after you. They're always going to be training with you. They're going to push you to your limits. So if you don't have humility, then you're going to get frustrated and then you're going to quit. So you also have to have perseverance, but you have to have humility too, and understand that you get better by training and rolling and grappling with guys that are better than you. That's how you get better. And if they're better than you, they're gonna be submitting you and tapping you, and you learn from that, and then you move on.
I completely agree with you. There's a saying that they call adversity is the best university. So more diversity you have, more you learn. And what do you have to say? Because I know, I talk to people out there, and the person's like 38 years old. Sometimes they're 42, or they're 45, and they're like, oh, I'm too old for Jiu-Jitsu. What do you have to tell those guys? What do you have to say?
That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. The other day when we were training, and Pat said, "You guys, I'm 45 years old," and I said, "You're saying that like that's old, you know." You know, you do. The thing is, you get older, you have to be realistic about your body. You have to be realistic about your capabilities. So do I move now at 60, and I'm in really good shape for a 62-year-old man, but I'm 62 years old.
Yeah.
So do I move now like I did when I was 25 or 30? Absolutely not. But on the other hand, I don't have to.
Yeah.
You become wiser, you become more intelligent, you become more patient. So you're still effective, you're just different. There will be no elder abuse coming this way anytime soon.
I completely agree with you, man. And you know, and I think the moment you start thinking that you're too old, that's the moment you became too old.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, so I believe you have to ignore the fact that we're old for anything. I know, like, Ron's a good example of that, and it's not the only example. You know, it can go around. There's people who are like 80 years old that are still training. Really good, man. Have a really nice time here having a conversation with you, and hope you guys enjoy. Congratulations one more time. All right, and see you on the mat.
Thank you. If you're looking for a good place for Jiu-Jitsu, Geo-Belt Jiu-Jitsu in San Clemente, just an outstanding place, great instruction, great family atmosphere. You need to come down and give it a shot.
All right, thank you.